The 7th seed is going to the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers' hopes of banner number 18.
So a few days ago, Steve Kerr did his exit interview and gave us a lot of insight on the season and what he expects going forward. It was a 30-minute press conference, so he had a lot to say. For the sake of saving everyone some time, because I know we all got things to do, I'm going to just paraphrase and highlight some key topics and give my thoughts and opinions. So let's get into it. Kerr says sometimes losing can give you clarity in terms of where you need to improve. I agree. As much as it hurts going out earlier than you expected in the playoffs, sometimes those situations can be beneficial if it means necessary changes are more likely to be made. Kerr cited playing defense without fouling as an obvious area of improvement for next season. The Warriors also have some roster improvements that need to be made. The Warriors are lacking size and front court shooting off the bench. Otto Porter and Bjelica were huge losses for the Warriors. I felt like coming into this season, the Warriors front office was way too complacent coming off a title. They lost GP2, Otto Porter, and Bjelica and didn't make enough of an effort to retain them, not realizing how hard it is finding elite role players that are affordable and fit the system. The Warriors had every opportunity to match the Blazers' initial offer for GP2 and chose to let him walk before bringing him back at the deadline. They ended up having to give up assets to reacquire a player they already had that never wanted to leave in the first place. The Warriors had the mid-level exception to offer Otto Porter, which is a little over $6 million, but there was a report during free agency that the Warriors only offered him the vet's minimum and basically hit him with a take it or leave it. Otto Porter ended up picking the Raptors after they offered their mid-level exception. Now his wife is supposedly from Canada and wanted to live there anyways, so maybe he wasn't coming back no matter what, but the Warriors didn't even make a competitive offer. $6 million is a bargain for everything Otto brings to the table. I know he got injured this year, but I'd still rather have him on the roster dealing with his injuries with our medical staff than not having him at all. He's a perfect fit for this team as a stretch big that can play the 4 or 5, rebound and knock down shots. OPJ's a legit 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's a pretty lengthy dude. On top of that, he's an intelligent defender. He almost never misses rotations, and he's rarely out of position. As for Bjelica, he just straight up retired from the NBA to play back overseas, so that's fine. The Warriors brought in Jermichael Green to be his replacement, but he doesn't really do the things Belly could do. He's not the same level of playmaker, although he is a better finisher though, so I'll give him that. The Warriors came into the season losing key role players and didn't make a good enough attempt to retain them. Instead, putting faith in first and second year players to pick up the slack. They penciled in Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody as guaranteed contributors and didn't add vets behind them for contingencies. You combine that with Draymond's punch that created the locker room chemistry, Clay not being in shape in training camp attributed to the Warriors' slow start to the season. Based off how they struggled against the Lakers, they know the roster tweaks that need to be made. More size, finishing, and front court spacing. Hopefully, as PBJ improves and earns Kerr's trust, he'll help address the need for a true stretch big. Standing at 6'10" with a high release point, Patrick Baldwin Jr. can easily shoot over defenses, similar to Michael Porter Jr. on the Nuggets. So yeah, the shooting won't be a problem, but don't expect much rebounding. He's a tall dude, he got a lot of work to do in the weight room. If he doesn't get his weight up, he won't be able to bang with NBA bigs for rebounds. Even though theoretically PBJ offers much needed front court shooting, he couldn't get on the court because he wasn't ready physically. If he's not grabbing boards, Kerr ain't gonna play him. That's the main reason he didn't get much PT this season, and why Kuminga was out of the playoff rotation. I mean, just imagine putting PBJ out there against the Lakers and depending on him to bang against AD and LeBron. It's a wrap, bro. He would have got bullied. Here's the hope in the past season of being on the NBA workout program did him some good heading into next season. They're still going to need a reliable stretch big in case PBJ isn't ready. Outside of the front court shooting, the other needs are a little more size and versatility. When I say they can use more size, that doesn't necessarily mean add a 7-foot plus dude to the roster just because he's big. There's no point having a 7-foot on the roster if he's trash. More size can mean more size on the wings. Big versatile wings are the key to the Warriors' small ball identity. You can get away with Draymond and Looney being your only centers when you have multiple big versatile wings who can play up a position if need be. Kerr said, "There's no hiding from it. The incident with Draymond and Jordan at the beginning of the year played a role in the loss of the locker room chemistry. It's hard for it not to have an impact. There was some trust lost. That's as blunt as I can be. When there's a loss of trust, it makes the process more difficult." Their major focus this offseason is building those bonds back up and reestablishing a trusting environment. Basically, with that punch, Draymond single-handedly nuked all locker room chemistry. He lost his teammates' trust, and in the process, lost his voice as a leader. With Draymond walking on eggshells the first half of the season, not speaking up on team issues, as a result, bad tendencies were formed. It's not all on Draymond why this team was as bad as it was, but him cratering the locker room definitely played a prominent role in it. Getting off to a good start in regular season is important. Last year, they started 18-2. It was good vibes all around the team, and they ended up winning the title. Between the unserious roster construction and the Draymond punch, any chance of getting off to a good start was out the window. Kerr said the regular season matters. I know in this day and age of players resting, sometimes people say throw the regular season out. It all matters. We won the championship last year getting off to an 18-2 start. The vibes were incredible, and it carried us forward. The Warriors got off to such a bad start this season, they really didn't start finding themselves until the Kings series. If your team's still looking to establish an identity by playoff time, you in trouble. Going into next season with everyone healthy, Wiggins and GP2 having full years, plus improvement of young players and more continuity, hopefully they can build an identity from the start. If they can, they'll be a more efficient team come playoffs. Kerr at the core is very motivated and should come back with more energy, more of an edge to start the season. Steve said, I called Jordan Poole one of the foundational six, and I still believe that. It's important to remember all the good things he did this year. He had a tough playoff stretch, but he averaged 20 points a game for us. It's hard to average 20 in the league, so he helped us win a lot of games, and he helped us win a championship a year ago. The areas we're going to work with Jordan is his efficiency. We can help him get better shots. On the defensive end, working on his ability to hold up when other teams are picking on him. Poole's shot selection was a problem this year. He would routinely take horrible shots, especially if he just made one. 10 times out of 10, if he makes a shot, the next one he takes is going to be an off-balance heat check 3. They need to reel in his shot selection a little bit. I know they empower him to be aggressive offensively, but being aggressive doesn't necessarily mean taking horrible shots. If he cuts out all the bad threes, mainly the contested pull-ups or the ones 3 feet behind the line with his feet barely set, you will see an improvement in his 3-point percentage. Poole's problem is that he shoots 34% from 3, but takes shots as if he shoots 44% from 3. Besides shot selection, Poole needs to work on defensive drills all summer. He has to show more resistance when teams go at him. He's always going to be a liability in the playoffs, which limits his ability to stay on the floor the deeper into the playoffs they get. Kerr said, look, if Draymond's not back, we're not a championship contender. We know that. He's that important to winning and to who we are. I absolutely want him back. He's a competitor. He's an incredible defensive player. I agree that if you take Draymond off this team, they're considerably worse. Imagine playing a Lakers series without Draymond. Even with Dre, AD was causing us problems. What if we play the Nuggets? Looney's gonna guard Jokic the whole game? No offense to my guy Looney, but that's barbecue chicken. As much as I feel like Draymond holds the team back offensively, with his lack of floor space and the finishing, defensively he anchors everything. Even though he's lost a step as he's gotten older, he's still easily one of the best defenders in the league. And when playoffs come around, he's easily one of, if not the most versatile defender in the league. Look, bruh, I'm fed up with Draymond's antics too. On any other team, if he did what he did to Poole, he's gone. He basically admitted he cost the team a championship this season with that punch. He told Stephen A. Smith if it wasn't for that incident, the Warriors wouldn't have gotten off to such a bad start in the regular season. Wouldn't have built so many bad habits that carried to the playoffs. He said they should be playing right now. Now, whether you're buying that from Draymond or not is a different story, but at least he admitted to the fact that he cost his team this year. Look, I'm tired of the drama that comes with Draymond too, but the Warriors don't have a way to replace him right now. And until they do, Kerr's right. They still need Draymond in order to be a title contender. Kerr said roster construction is very important. Finding the right balance between vets and young guys, adding more vets will be a part of the conversation with the front office this summer. This season, the front office went overboard leaning into the 2-timeline plan. Between Poole, Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, PBJ, and Rollins, their average age is 20.5 years old. 5 out of the 15 roster spots were dedicated to projects. That's 1/3 of the roster that couldn't be relied on. Then we consider the fact that they kept the 15 slot open the entire season to save luxury tax money and used another roster spot on Iggy, who's basically an assistant coach that was almost never available to play. That's 7 out of 15 roster spots that were compromised. That's some real unserious roster building right there. They set themselves up for failure from the jump. They leaned way too heavily into youth, and it showed on the court. They were playing too many young dudes who didn't know the NBA game yet. Learning how to be elite role players on the fly as a young player with lottery pick talent is really hard to do. Kerr mentioned how the difference in age was challenging at times. He said, you're trying to raise young guys and teach them good habits. Teach them how to win, and you're hoping your vets can help mentor the young guys. Last year, we won a championship. This year, we lost in the second round. You can fit the narrative however you want, but every year presents its own challenges. Anyways, that's all I got for y'all. Kerr also spoke on Kuminga and his future with the team, but I think I'm gonna do a separate video on that so I can get into more detail. So let me know in the comments if y'all want a Kuminga video. If you stuck around this late into the video, I appreciate you. I'll holla at y'all next time.